hopefully that'll work so we can make it available after the training tonight. So tonight you can see on my screen that I'm using a Mac. I'm using Safari as my browser. And Safari works pretty good with Blackboard. I don't have a lot of problems, but a lot of people don't have Macs. They use regular PCs, and Internet Explorer seems to be the most popular browser. Unfortunately, Internet Explorer is not the best browser to use with Blackboard. We've run into all kind of problems, and even with this new version, they provided some technical details about the browsers, and it seems that Blackboard continues to update so that they can match up with Mozilla, Firefox, and Google Chrome. I don't know if that's the correct terminology, but that's the best way for me to explain it. They keep everything in sync with Mozilla and Chrome. So I would say if you're going to make notes tonight, please make a note of that, to use Mozilla Firefox or Google Chrome as your browser with Blackboard. You can use anything else any other time, but during that, for logging in and working in Blackboard. So you can see I'm still at limestone9.blackboard.com. That's where we always logged in, but it looks entirely different. You can see the announcements are still on the bottom of the screen. And as time goes on, we may try to change this so that we can make it branded more for Limestone. But for the time being, this is what it's going to look like when you go to log in. So when you log in the very first time, you can see the screen looks a little different. How many of you have already logged in to Service Pack 14? If you would raise your hand for me. Okay. Okay, so we've had a couple, 2 or 3, 4. So what happened when you logged in the very first time, you got a little welcome here on the screen, and it was from Blackboard, and it was sort of helping you navigate around. So that's a helpful thing for the rest of you. When you first log in, you'll be able to see, it'll point out some things. It's going to point out this area here. For the most part, the announcements, the My Courses, and the on-demand help and learning and the tools and all that are exactly like they were in the old system. They're set up the same way. You still have, you remember your tabs used to be over here. Well, now your tabs are on the right, your My LC Blackboard, your courses, and My Career. You will not have the System Administrator tab. But then you'll notice this is really the action links, if you will. The little button here will log you off and on. Logs you out. It doesn't log you on, it logs you out. You still have to go back to the screen to log in. But then there's a little pull down toggle here. So when you open that up, you're going to see your courses. And this is a question that has come up quite a bit in the past. You can see I have a lot of courses in here, but not nearly as many as some of you have teaching for year after year. And you don't want to have to go in there and hide them, but you're constantly looking through trying to find the course that you want to see. So with this new area here, you can see the recently visited courses, and then all of your other courses sort of fall to the bottom. So the ones you're working with will be easy for you to get to. You'll also see settings here. So if you want to change the text size to make it larger, if you need the high contrast setting to make it a little easier to read, you can change that here. Then you'll see the little Blackboard Home. When you click that, you'll see it opens up a whole new screen. And you have the tabs here on our tabs on the left-hand side. So the Home is going to give you today's date and your calendar if you have anything due or if you have something due this week. You can even view more of your calendar here. And then if you have posts from blogs or discussions or anything like that, it's going to show up in this area. It's very similar to the messages that we added as a third-party add-on in the old Blackboard. It's like your home base, and you can see what's going on before you log into your courses. Then you have this other little tab, and this is specifically for posts. If I had posts in here, I would be able to sort those and look at them in different ways. The little clock here, but for me, this was a little confusing. I wanted the clock to be the calendar, but it's not. The clock is just all the updates that have happened. Your announcements will be over here, and then this will be updated as announcements are put in the system. Then you have the Retention Center. I'm going to talk just very briefly here about the Retention Center. This is a new part of Blackboard. We're very, very excited about it. We hope that it will help us with retention. It's an easy to use product. As we get into the training more, and I'm talking about the first part of the training, I'm going to show you this in just a little bit more detail. And then in about 2 or 3 weeks, Katie Jones and I will be doing training just specific to the Retention Center. The entire training time we'll be talking about the Retention Center and how we hope to use it, and how we hope to work with you and work with the advisors to make this a great new tool for our students and keeping them engaged. The next little link here is the calendar. And the calendar is probably the most exciting thing about the new upgraded Blackboard. They've totally revamped it. You can click on the different views, like here's the day, the week, the month. It's like a true modern calendar, just like you would use in Outlook or any place else, Google, or any of the calendars that you might have online. You can go in, as you see, all your courses will be listed here. Well, maybe you don't want to see all of them, so you just uncheck it. It's really easy to do. Master course template, the institution there. If you have personal items, you can link them here. You can actually go get an external calendar link so that you could put your entire calendar here if you wanted to. All right, I'm going to take a quick break here. It looks like we have some questions. Okay. Again, we've had some folks join as we've gotten started here. So I want to tell you, if the hand, if we ask for input about raising your hand, it should be in the control panel. The control panel is the same area where you type in your questions and that kind of thing. It's just a little hand with a red arrow on it. And we will stop from time to time and I'll ask for input. Okay, so going back to the calendar here, you can, of course, create a new entry. Today was let's just call it a cold day. Cold day. How about that? And I could choose the calendar, my personal calendar. Maybe I want to put it under my academic advising renewal calendar. And I can choose whether it's all day. I can repeat it. I can give different event descriptions if I'd like. And then I just save it. So let's put it for tomorrow, because tomorrow is supposed to be another cold day. And I'll show you how that looks. Okay, so you see the red here is corresponding with the color here. You see today, earlier I did a snow day, and I did that using the training class pull down. So again, it's just a modern looking calendar. You can drag and drop. Let's say that we want Monday to be a cold day. You just drag and drop it. Well, the great thing about this is if you've taught in Blackboard before, you know if you created assignments or assessments and you wanted it to show up in the calendar, it was a two-step process. You had to manually go in there and put that on your calendar. Well, now with a new calendar, all you do is just click on the information here. This is automatically put in here from the course. So you just click on it. That opens up. See, it's Module 1 test, has the due date. You can tell the calendar, that's the course listed there. I didn't put a description in, but I could have. So from this screen, I can grade. I can just click on grade, and it's going to take me straight to this due date, to the grade center for the assignment that was due, or test, or whatever it is. Okay, so it jumps you straight in. You don't have to look for your course. You don't have to go through these several steps. You just click on it, and there you are in your grade center. All right, I'm going to go back up here because it's like my navigation area. I'm going to go back to the calendar, pull my calendar back up. And for some reason, my test vanished. That is very puzzling. I wonder if, let me make a quick note here. That must be a bug in the system because I've done this twice today and it hasn't vanished on me. Let me make a note. So anyway, I'll go back into the class and see if we can figure out what's going on here. I'm going to go into my assessment. And for some reason, let's go in and edit the test options and see if we can get this to show up again. have a due date on it. Well, let's change the due date back to the 16th and see if we can get it to show up. I'm learning lots of new things today doing this training. Okay, so let's go back to the calendar and see if it's there. And it is not. Okay, well, we have a buggy. Well, maybe I unchecked the course. Let's see if that happened. That's what happened to it. So here we are. It's there twice. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the Module 1 quiz. That's where I was working originally. I showed you could click on this and go straight to the grade book. You can also click on Edit this test, and it will take you straight into the place where I was a second ago when I messed up and lost my calendar entry. So it takes you back to the test options. You could change the name, the test availability, and you can change the due date and that kind of thing. So again, the main thing about that calendar type entry is it is a shortcut into your courses, which is a pretty nice thing to have. So any questions at all about how you log in, the browsers to use, how you use this navigational tool at the top here, how you use the tools on the left-hand side or the calendar? Do we have any questions at all before we move on? Okay, I'm going to go back to my LC Blackboard where I have the listing of courses. And I'm going to work in this ECI training course. Dr. Suzanne Lindley was kind enough to let me borrow her course. She has great content and lots of content, so it was easy to work with her material. If you're new to Blackboard and you've never taught at Limestone before, um, one of the main things you need to remember is when you're in your course, this is a very important tool here, edit mode on and off. When the edit mode is on, that means that you can go in and do the work that you need to do. When the edit mode is off, this is what your students see. As an example, if I wanted to go in and work on an assessment or change a date on an assessment, I couldn't do that because, wow, how am I going to get in here and work? It opens up the quiz just like it would for the student. So that's a hint. And it's amazing how many people email or call because they don't remember that. It's a tricky little spot up here. So if you ever get in a situation you're like, something looks wrong here, just hit that little toggle, turn it on, and then you'll be able to go in and do the work you need to do. Okay, so in the old, I call it the old Blackboard, so bear with me, the old version of Blackboard that we had. If you had a student in your class and they needed extra time for taking an exam, let's say they were a PAL student or they had some other type of learning need that they had approval to have extended time for test taking, they had the written documentation for that they've given you, and you wanted to go into your test and just make that available for that one particular student. Well, it's sort of a pain. You had to use adaptive release, and it just wasn't too friendly of a way to handle that kind of thing. So in the update, they've added a great feature, and you would just go into your test. We're going to go into this exam too. We're going to edit the test options. And as you can see, the test information is just like before. They've updated this. You're going to hear me talk about this 2 or 3 different times. You're going to get tired of hearing about it. But the description area, they've updated this. It's really nice. They have added where you can record from your webcam. And in my previous training, I made this sound like it was very easy. And it is pretty easy to record from your webcam. The only problem is you have to sign into YouTube because that's where your video will reside. But you'll see this record button for your webcam in the assessments, assignments, email, lots of different areas. You can see where you can add other content, media. You can view, have a preview of your screen. So if you wanted to bold part of this, you could look at it and see exactly what it was going to look like. If you put media in here or a URL link and you wanted to test it to make sure it worked correctly, you could use this preview area. You can also open the preview area up to full screen, make it a little easier to work on. And then the way to turn that off is this just toggles on and off. So again, just a quick feature I wanted to bring out here. And I'm going, you're going to hear it again and again. But anyway, so that's just the description. Then we're going to go in. Here's the test description again. Open the test in the new window. You've probably seen all of this part if you've been teaching with us. None of this has changed. But this is the nice area that has changed. Test availability exceptions. This is for that student who needs special attention as far as timing and that kind of thing. So we're going to choose Frosty and press submit. And then once Frosty shows up, we can give him a single attempt. We can give him multiple attempts. We can say 3 times we'll let him try the test. Unlimited. If it's just a single attempt but the student needs more time, you can change the time here. You can do an auto submit. You could change the availability right here in this area. You can have forced completion, which we do recommend. And you can add, more students. If you needed to add another student, you could do that. So again, very helpful tool to take care of those special situations. Beyond that, the due date's the same as it's always been. The self-assessment options, none of that has changed. The only thing you're going to see that's different is this area, and we feel pretty good about that. We are very pleased with this new option. So I'm going to take a quick break here, and I'm going to ask you, do you think that this would be a helpful tool for you? Do you think you would be able to use this? Okay. If you have questions or, raise your hand if you think this would be helpful to you. I do have one question that's come up on the screen. Why do you recommend forced completion? Well, if you have a student taking a test and they get up and go get a cup of coffee and go to the bathroom and look at their book, go review their notes or whatever, and there's a time gap there and you don't have forced completion, they can come back and just pick up and finish that test. So we call it a best practice for you to have that forced completion. That way, and not even under the test availability exceptions, but for all of your tests, if you would do that, just have forced completion. I think it's in the options on down, or now it's called, I guess, prohibit back. No, I'm trying to see where it is. It's here in the test area anyway, but here it is. Make sure that you select that. See, once started, the test must be completed in one sitting. And I'll tell you, we've had problems with that before. A student who the test went on for like 4 hours. Hello, there's a problem here. So, and then the professor wants us to do a little research, and we have to contact Blackboard and all that. Okay, what does availability refer to? This is one of the questions that I had. Let's look and see. Are you referring to the availability within this test availability options? Is that what you're referring to? Or this part, the test availability? Yes. Okay. Basically, what the test availability is you can create your test and have it hidden from your students until you're ready for them to be able to see it. So that's what the test availability. If I selected no, then when the student had their view, the student view, they wouldn't be able to see that the test was even sitting out there. So that's really all it means, is just make it available to the student. So again, with this test availability exception, you don't have to use adaptive release in that type of situation for extra timing. Now, if you have a student who misses the exam, just because they were sick or they couldn't get to the proctor or whatever reason, and you would approve for them to take the test later, you would still use adaptive release for that, because that would be a different type of situation. Okay. Let's go. Any more questions about this particular area before we move on? Okay. I'm going to go into assignments. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. Basically, I'm just going to show you again about if you create, put in anytime you're creating. Blackboard is great. It's step by step. Follow the directions and you're good to go. If you see this little orange star, it means you have to put something in there. If you don't, they'll, pop up an error message reminding you that you have to have content there. But wanted to speak again about this area, about the text. We would love to see our professors get more interactive with the students. Again, whether that means uploading a little intro on YouTube or putting some kind of URL link here or media, just something to be more, have our students more engaged. So again, I want to point this out. So Blackboard's always had what you see is what you get, but these are sort of the new add-ons to that. Again, with your assignments, you could attach files. Nothing else has really changed in this area. Any questions at all about this and creating and using this area that I keep going on and on about? Okay. All right. I want to look then at discussions. And so far, you see everything we've talked about has been over in this left-hand side under the sort of the teaching area. I changed Dr. Lindley's discussion so that it would be anonymous, and every single time I log in, I get this message. So I'm keep telling them not now, ask again later, and when I submit, Blackboard says, well, I'm going to be asked again. Again, Blackboard's so friendly, user-friendly, and helps you out even when you don't want the help. So we're here in the discussion area. If you remember in the other version of Blackboard, creating the forum link, the link was almost invisible. If you didn't know it was there, you wouldn't even realize it was a live link. So I, for one, am very happy that they put a real button for create forum so that you can see, and you just type in, any your discussion content or forum content. But I want to go in and look at one of these discussions here and show you. You have some different display options. You can see, search by hidden. I probably picked a bad example here with just the one question, but you can do a different display. You can create a thread in the same area as a draft if you would like. You can set flags, clear flags, make it available. You can go into the thread, reply back, quote, edit, delete, and it's just, a more modern type of discussion board. Do any of you participate in any kind of hobby discussion boards online? If you do, this is, very similar to the more modern discussion boards, different than the way the other version of Blackboard was. All right, any questions at all about discussions? All right, the next thing I want to show you is the control panel area. They've added some pretty nice features here. Under Control Panel and then Course Tools, you'll see a lot of different options here. I would encourage you to go through these and look at them, even though we're not going to spend time on but a couple of them tonight. These are some very handy tools, especially like from the publishers. The Add a Test Student is wonderful. While we were talking about this edit mode on and off, so you have the student view. If you want to test the functionality of your course, you'll want to check out this Add Test Student, because then you can go in and really do the work as a student. That is not new to Blackboard. That's been in the old system too, but that's a third-party add-on that we put in. I'm just trying to give it a plug because it's such a good tool to have. But the main thing I want to show you in this area is the date management. And this is similar to your calendar, but it's more of a tool to help you if you've had a class in the past. Let's say you taught something last fall, and you want to use that same class again in the spring. You could use either your master course, which, if you've heard Katie Jones and myself talk, we consider that a best practice is having a master course rather than copying your courses term to term. But we know that people copy term to term. So whichever way you decide to do it. Sometimes if you're working in a course and you don't change the dates, or you need to change the dates to reuse the course, it can be a pain. You can go into the grade book, which I've had a professor even today tell me that's what he prefers to this new date management tool that Blackboard's added. But anyway, just another helpful tool that they put in here that I think you'll like. I'm going to press this button because I've been working in this course, the Run Date Management. And it gives me some options here for this particular course. I can use the course start date. Now, the current start date would be last term, the date that's in here. The new date would be today's date, or let's say if I'm starting on the 13th, which is the start of term 1. Or I could adjust by a number of days, shift all dates by 10 days, and it will do that. List all dates for review. So I'm just going to say list all dates for review and start. See, I've got some date management process going. It'll take just a few seconds here. So just bear with me. It's looking at all the dates in this course. Okay, it tells me it's completed, 14 seconds. It also just sent me an email reminding me that the process was completed. And in that email, it has all the course dates and all the assignments. So I can see all of my content, every single module or quiz or assignment, announcement, every date, or I can go and select what I want to see. So I'm going to select assignments. And you see the dates here. I could even look by due dates. That's what we'll do. Okay. Now I can go in and change all the dates. Or I can go, let's see if I can change how it changes this. Okay, so I've got my lab project 1 and 2. Change the date to, let's go into 2014 and make it the 13th. Now this is a tricky part. When you press done here, it makes sense that that would change, right? Just go ahead and change it. Well, it doesn't actually do that. You have to press this little green button. So I'm going to show you. I've changed the due date. You see this? It tells me it's updated. Now the availability date is still from back in 2013. So I may want to change that to match. And then the green check again. So if it's your preference to go in and change these things in the gradebook, that is fine. But if you like having everything all in one place, changing everything at one time, this is a great tool. Again, it's under the course management control panel, down here, date management. I'm going to go down to the Grade Center next and go into Full Grade Center. And I will show you something in this area as well. I have want to make sure we don't have any questions though before we move on about the date management. Any questions at all about that? Okay. All right. Going down here to let me go to assignments. I uploaded an assignment earlier today. So rather than uploading one here in front of you, I'm going to try to work on this one. And it's getting pretty messy the time I've used it today. The basic premise of this new feature in the gradebook, which is called inline grading. Inline grading. And what it does is if you have an assignment or an assessment and the student uploads a Word document to you or an Excel spreadsheet or they upload a PDF file, you don't have to download that file, go over to your Word, open your Word, work on it, upload it back into your course. You can modify it, comment on it, mark it up right here within Blackboard. It opens up Word, a Word type setting for you within Blackboard. If you want to download it, you can. There it goes. I have a Mac, so it goes to a different place, but you can see it downloads there. But you don't have to do that. You can make comments. Has a little bar here. You can get the comments to work. See if we can get this. Well, here we go with the comments. So you can comment. You can draw on it. Make a mark. You can enlarge it because it's so small. When you finish, you can press complete. Highlight it. Have text. I could type something in. This is a terrible, terrible recipe. You can grade from here. If you have a rubric and it's attached to the assignment, you can pull up the rubric and make some marks here and then save the rubric. You can also give feedback. Try again. You can change the grade. And I must have jumped out too quickly. I could change the grade. And then submit it. And then exit out. So I want to show of hands, do you think that will be helpful to you as you grade, as you're working in your courses? If you just do a show of hands, if you think that would be a helpful tool. Yeah, I think it would be a time saver rather than having to lug that stuff out of Blackboard into Word and then work on it and then upload it. That's always been sort of crazy to me, so I'm happy to see that. I was asked earlier today if you had to use a certain version of Word or version of Excel. To my knowledge, no. If you do start working with this and find out that I'm wrong, please let me know because I'm still learning a lot about this new version. This is our second day actually of working with it. So anything new that you find out, any snags, please let me know. Again, two last little things. I'm going to let the first group go. Under the evaluation area, the retention center, I just want to show that to you so you'll see what it looks like. And again, we'll be doing some more detailed training on this. You can see if you have students at risk, if they miss deadlines, course activity, you can set all this up. And we'll do more detailed training about this. Like I said, we hope that this will be a great tool to help us with retention and with keeping students on track. Also, back in the navigation menu, when you log in the first time, if you have students at risk, you will see this, a little red number, and it will pop up and show you, that you have them, who's at risk. You have 2 students who missed deadlines, and you can jump right over and it tells you who those students are. And let's see, I have a question here. Okay, Jeff, so you're already using Service Pack 14 at another school or something? And we're talking now about the inline grading and using Word, that you've had some problems with it working with Word 7. Is that correct? Okay, if you type more, I'll share with the group. But it seems like maybe there is a problem uh, with using Word 7 in with the inline grading in the Grade Center. So we've talked about that. We talked about the retention center. And then the last thing, and this is just sort of a fun little thing that Blackboard put in as a bonus that I think is pretty cool. It's here under Course Management, Control Panel, Course Tools, Achievements. If you want to do something to motivate your students, let's say that they complete a milestone, they read chapter 1. You just go into Achievements, create an achievement, milestone. We can call this chapter 1 completion. If I could type. And then I can put it in the course. It's going to open up and let me browse. And let's see if we could put it in the learning module content. And it's called a milestone. And we can make it visible to the students before they receive it, maybe as a little carrot to dangle before them. I can put some details here. I can even, again, make a webcam, talk to them, upload it to YouTube, and tell them what this is about. And then you just go to the next step, which is define the triggers. It doesn't like I didn't give it a name. Let's see, chapter 1 completion. I guess I put that in the wrong place. Okay, now let's define the triggers. So you can name the rule. You don't even have to do this. You can select the reward. Well, there we go. And then, of course, I would be the issuer since I'm teaching the course. And I can give it an expiration date, make it valid for certain days, and then I can give them the champion award, or I can even make my own award, and then I can save it and exit. So this would be, you can see these two, I didn't finish creating them, these two here, but this one is completed. So once a student completed the test or whatever the milestone, they would get this badge and it would show up in the area where I've selected it. And again, this is just something that would be a great motivational tool for your students if you like using that kind of thing. All right, any questions at all about what we've covered, the browsers, logging in, the calendar, the assessments and assignments. We talked in the assessments about the test availability exceptions. Then the new discussion, how that works. We talked about date management. And again, a best practice there is to adjust your dates before you copy into your shell. You don't, it's not gonna, the world is not going to end if you don't do that, but it's just a best practice to make those date changes before you copy over into your shell. We talked about the inline grading using Word, Excel, and PDF files within Blackboard to correct your students' assignments or assessments. We talked a little bit about the Retention Center, and remember, we're going to have more detailed training about that one tool in 2 to 3 weeks. And we talked about achievements. So any questions about any of that? All right. If you have already been through our full training and you've already teaching with us, you're certainly welcome to stay if you just want a refresher. But if not, you're welcome to go. We're going to stop for a couple of minutes here so people can leave if they need to. Again, I thank you very much for joining. While you're leaving, I want to show you one quick thing. In the resource course, instructor resource course, we do have a new folder. It's right on the home page that has training materials for Blackboard. So we've covered a lot of stuff tonight. If you forget something that we went over, just go into the resource course. You'll see it's going to take you directly to the resource website. And you just open this up. Tons of information, tons of videos and handouts, and it's just a great resource. You can go back and you can see some new things for instructors. We've also added some videos here that have been prepared by Blackboard. So if you have been teaching with us, you should have access to this course. If you are new and will be teaching with us in term 1, we will be adding you to the resource course tomorrow. So you should have access to it. But if you, like I said, if you, unless you just want to stay for the refresher training, you're free to go now. If I can ever help you with anything, Donna Hudson, it's dhudson@limestone.edu, or you could call me at 888-760-2245. Okay, we have a few folks leaving. Okay, it seems that we've had several people leave, so we're going to go ahead and start. And I have a question, and this is a very good question, by the way. Um, it's about, do you log in directly here at limestone9.blackboard.com, or do you log in through the portal? So I want to answer that question, and then I have one more question that I'll take care of after that. Are all of you familiar with the portal? If you're not, you will be as you teach with us, because you have to go to the LC portal to enter your grades for your courses. There's a couple of ways to get to the portal. I'm going to show you by going to the Limestone website, because sometimes that's just the easiest thing to remember. Sometimes I'm working and I'm like, what is the shortcut to the portal? I'm not really good about bookmarking stuff, but so we can get to Limestone. Okay, so we're at limestone.edu. Scroll all the way to the bottom, and you'll see a link to the portal. So if you click on that, it's going to take you to portal.limestone.edu, and that's what you may want to bookmark. So you can go to the portal, and I may get an error message here since I'm already logged into Blackboard. When you log in, your portal is probably going to look a little different from mine. I don't have a lot of tabs. You probably have a lot more tabs than I do, but you should have a Blackboard tab. And if you click on that tab, it'll take you to this section. Now, you won't have the trash can of the pencil here, because this is so, I can edit and add things, but you'll have all this: log in, need technical assistance, Blackboard help for students. When we train do training for our students, the new students, we take them through this area too. So you see exactly what they see. The Blackboard the Limestone financial aid, how to get some tutoring help. And they too can log into Blackboard through the portal. It's a single sign-on, which means that if you're already in the portal, why would you go back out to limestone9.blackboard.com? You can log in here. And again, I'm probably going to get an error message since I'm already logged in, but we'll see. Let me in. We did have a problem a while back. Something happened with the way our system was communicating with Blackboard, and people could not log into Blackboard. It was a terrible day. But somebody figured out, hey, I can go through the portal and get in. So if you have trouble logging in ever, just go into the portal and try to get in the back door that way. It's handy. So, does that answer your question about the portal? Okay, good. Thank you. All right, then I have another question. This is a professor. This will be the first hybrid course, and we're going to talk now about how the online tools are to be used for the hybrid format. Now, I want to qualify that by saying I can tell you how to use the tools. I can't tell you about the content or the amount of time that you need to spend or that kind of thing. I believe that Greg Harris is working with the department heads, and they have the syllabi and some guidelines for you. So all that I can show you is the Blackboard part of things. So hopefully that'll help you. All right, so when you are teaching, and it's the very first time, you have what is called a shell. And basically, that is the course where your students, they're going to be uploaded into that course. It's an automated process. We do their payment forms, whether they're in the classroom or they're online. So they're automatically uploaded into Blackboard. Now, when you log in the first time, and when your students log in the very first time, this is what they're going to see. There are no available items in this course. You have nothing. You do have the control panel. So we start getting emails from the students, and the students are saying, there's something wrong with my course. I have no content. So rather than have you start from scratch and totally build a course, we have developed some templates. We have a template for the Extended Campus Classroom. For Extended Campus Internet, typically what we do is we have a lead instructor who teaches the course. And so we copy that lead instructor's content into the shell where the students are sitting. For day faculty, we have a template as well. Again, I've said if you are a note taker, you might want to make a note about the browsers. You may want to make a note about this. If you log in, if you forget everything we've gone over tonight, and next week you log into Blackboard and you click on your course and you see this will be a reminder to email ECI Services, and that's Extended Campus Internet, ECI Services with an S, at limestone.edu. And all you do is just send a quick email and say, hey, I'm teaching XYZ class. Could you please put the template in? And Katie Jones and myself, we monitor that email address. We all during the day, we monitor it at night until 10 o'clock. We monitor it on the weekends. So again, when you log in and you see this, just, oh yeah, I need to email those folks and ask for the template. When we get that email, what we'll do is put the template in, and the next time you log in, if you're teaching for Extended Campus Classroom, this is what you will see. Right, so you have a very nice template here. We like for the templates to stay in this format. We don't need to go in here deleting your logo out. We don't want you changing these colors. We like for everything to have the same type look when the students log in. The Extended Campus Internet courses look very similar. They have the same color scheme. The day faculty, they have the exact same color scheme. Dr. Gainey approved this when we moved to the old Blackboard version, and we like it so much. We like the color scheme. We just continued with it because it's sort of a branding for Limestone. So this is what you'll have. You'll have to make sure that you have your edit mode on so you can add your particular content. As you see here, you have a place to put your syllabus in, announcements, the course evaluation instructions that will already be there. You leave that open. It's an automated process so that the students at the end of the course or toward the end of the course, they'll have an opportunity to rate the course. You'll have an area to put in your information and contact, your name and contact information. So as you can tell, I have the edit mode off, so I can't really do anything. I can see a syllabus, but I can't do anything else. So I'll go up here and turn the edit mode on. Going back to the home page. And you'll notice working in the courses as well as working just out here in the navigation area, it all has the same kind of format. They have the same theme as far as trying to help you along, prompting you if you're missing something, giving you error messages. I really like Blackboard for that reason. So all the tools that you use preparing your course be here on the left, like we were talking about earlier. And then the management area, like where your files are located and these tools are located, that's down below. So I encourage you to just go in and look around and get comfortable with this. So the home page, you have your logo, you have all that. You want to go into your syllabus and edit. And of course, you don't want it called syllabus for training. You probably want it called whatever your course number is, syllabus. And if you could wanted a different file, you just go out and browse your computer. Okay, here we go. Goes out to the desktop or your documents or whatever you have there, and choose your document, and it will upload it. You have some file options. Again, you see here the orange, which tells us these are required things. If you have a name, you got to go find the file. You can open a new window. We don't really use the alignments. We may down the road. If we do, we'll start doing more training on that. Permit users to view it. Of course, you want them to be able to view it. You can restrict the times and dates that they can review it, but most professors just leave that open. Just make sure that the students can see it. If you're teaching in the classroom, whether day or extended campus classroom in the evening, instead of printing out your syllabus or syllabi or bringing them into class and handing it out to students, you may from the very beginning want to just put it here in the course and then tell the students to go there to access it. It saves you some time and money with printing. And it also, somebody says they lose the syllabus. Oh, I lost my syllabus. I didn't know I was supposed to do this or that. Well, you can always say, I didn't look at it in the course. So it's just a handy tool there. You have announcements here on the home page. Just click on this and you can create a new an announcement if you need to. Again, there's your subject. And here I'm going to go on about this. You can even give them a message with a video. Seriously, just type in your announcement there. You can make it date restricted. You can send the announcement immediately if you'd like, and then you can even link it within the course. So again, all this is still on the home page. We talked about the course evaluation instructions. That's an automated thing. You don't really have to do anything with that. Instructor information, you would just go in and edit and put your contact information in here, and then submit is how you save. All right, let's go look. We've talked about the syllabus. You can see this is linked. The syllabus is linked to the home page. It has a chain. Anytime that you're building content, you can see, for example, you want to link. You can do a web link. You can do a course link. You wouldn't want to do it under the syllabus, but this is how you do it. And choose the item that you want to link. It's going to pull up the menu here. You can link different things. But anytime you see that chain, it means it's linked. It shows up in two different areas, the exact same material. And then your announcements are here. Let's say that you like having the announcements on the home page and you always want your students to look there. You don't necessarily want them to have to go to this second place. There's another little arrow here, and so you could just hide the link. You can do that with any of these links here. If you have an area and there's no content, you'll have a little empty box here. Tells you, well, it's time to add content. There's nothing there. The assessments, you can build the quiz. You can go here and do test, survey, assignment. You may want to make a note of this. There's a product called Respondus. It's a third-party product that we license. And you can take a document, let's say that you have a test that you like to use and it's in Word format. Katie Jones or myself, we can work with you and help you bring that Word document right into Blackboard. You don't have to type those questions in one by one by using the test format here. We can use Respondus for that. If you want to know more about that or need help with that, please let me know. There's training material in the resource course that we looked at earlier where we had training materials for Blackboard. There's a learning module that has lots of information. But Respondus, you may want to keep that in the back of your mind if you want to bring an assessment in. If you're teaching in person in the classroom in the evening, it may just be easier to go ahead and do the test there in person. Because unless you're in a computer lab or you require your students to bring in an iPad or a laptop, or you have them with a proctor somewhere, it may be just more practical to do the test there in person. That's entirely up to you, but it's all, just keep that in mind. That some of these tools are wonderful. Assessments. If you're doing an internet class and you're teaching it, it's a great thing. But if you're really seeing people face to face, that may not even make good sense. You can also, in this area, get out here to your tools, your discussion board, partner content. This is wonderful. I would encourage you to take a look at these areas. If you can find your textbook, the publishers provide great information, quizzes, PowerPoints, media, a lot of things that you can pull into your course simply just because you're using a publisher's book. So you can do that under assessments. You'll notice also under assignments, you have the same way to get partner content. Okay, I have a question. Okay, can I talk about how to import a test from a textbook provider like Cengage? Because I don't teach, I'm just a trainer. I don't have a login to Cengage, but I have worked with other professors that use either Cengage or Pearson or Vital Source, McGraw-Hill. You can get content here. I think you notice down here in the tools section, there's some others. What you would do is for Cengage, for example, you would go out and search for your textbook. And then when you find the textbook, you're going to have to give them some login credentialing, something to prove to Cengage that you're the professor, not the student. And I don't have access to that information either because, again, I don't teach at Limestone. But you'll get that access, and then usually it comes in the form of a zip file. Sometimes it's easier than that. The content just comes straight into Blackboard. Blackboard's such a well-known LMS that a lot of these publishers cater to what they need. So it's a very easy process. Once you get to that point, any of you, if you're wanting to import and you need a little help, let me know, let Katie know. We'll be glad to help you go through that. We've helped many instructors bring that content in. It is a great, great way to build a class. Okay, let's see. We have another question. Most of the test bank sites have an export feature. Very good. Thank you for that comment. Again, not teaching. There are a lot of things that I've just learned around about helping professors. So, test banks, absolutely. That is a great way to get quizzes. I mean, why reinvent the wheel if you can get some material? And most of this is very, very good material, or what I've seen. Um, any other questions or comments about that? I want to hit one more area under the assessments, and this is it's a tool. Let's see, it's the assessment. It's called Safe Assignment. Show of hands, have any of you ever heard of Safe Assignment? Safe Assign. Okay, we've got a couple. Oh, good, good. All right. What Safe Assignment is the way for you or your students to check for plagiarism. I mean, face it, some students take content and they don't even realize that what they've done is wrong. So this is a good tool. You can use it in assessments or in assignments. You just go in and create the assignment and name it, the points possible. Have a due date if you want it. It'll go straight to your calendar too if you put it the due date. Which, by the way, talking about the calendars, if you put a due date here or on any assignment and it shows up on your calendar, your students will show up on their calendar too. So you can put that information there, make it available. You can do this in a draft mode, and that will permit your student to submit the assignment or the assessment if it's a research paper or something as a draft. And if they have problems, they're going to get a report back from Safe Assign that says, hey, 80% of this is plagiarized. You need to go back out and work on it. You're going to get, it doesn't say it in that way, but it lets the student know they've got some problems to go. And then you could permit them to correct it and resubmit it. To do that, you would select draft. The other thing is urgent checking. we recommend that you always select that because SafeAssign is a third-party uh, software, and lots of colleges use it. And so if you don't check urgent checking, then your students' papers are just going to go into a queue, and it may take 2 days before it is checked. SafeAssign is pretty good, and they handle things fairly promptly. But there was I guess it was about a year and a half ago where they got backed up. They had more papers than they could handle. And believe me, when we were at Blackboard World, I went to one of their events, and people were really complaining about that. But if you select urgent checking, what that does is it pushes your students' papers to the front of the line, and they're handled more quickly. You can make it so that the student can view it or not. You can create an announcement, and that's really how that works. I created one earlier today, and again, this is a dummy class, so there's not really any content there. But I called it research paper, and I wanted to view it and complete it. So if the student had submitted it, you could go in and check it here. But as there's no paper really there, I get this little pop-up in red that says instructors can view or upload papers through the SafeAssign course tool here in the control panel. So if your students have turned those papers in through Word and they've sent them to you through email or whatever method, you can come here, go to SafeAssign, and check those. So it might help you with some grading too. Any questions about that? Okay. Oh, okay. I've got some questions here. If you don't mind, Darlene, I'm going to hold those questions for just a few minutes, and then we'll get back to that. Okay. I will not leave before we go through this and answer your questions. Okay. Um, the calendar, we spent a good bit of time on that, so I'm not going to say much about it. Just basically, it's the same calendar that we looked at here under the navigation tool. Then you have chat. Chat is something that we've had for a while. A lot of people don't use it, but it is available. We are adding, this is sort of a basic chat kind of thing here. We have licensed Collaborate, which is, if you've ever heard of Wimba, Collaborate and Blackboard bought Wimba, and it's an internal, inside Blackboard kind of communication. I mean, we're using GoToMeeting right now for this training. When we have Collaborate installed and do the training on that, you'll see that you'll be able to use that in your classes, uh, just like we're using GoToMeeting. You'll have a whiteboard, you'll be able to show your screen, you'll be able to communicate with your students. So again, that's something that will be coming very soon. It's like the retention center. Once we get it in place and we understand how to use it, we'll roll out some training dates and just spend the entire training talking about that. Discussions, we went over that in detail, so I'm not going to talk much about that, except remember, just go to create forum to start your discussion. The learning modules. Learning modules, I think of learning modules as a file cabinet. You can create content certainly separately under assessments and assignments and discussions. But you may decide to go into a learning module, and again, thinking of this as a file drawer and a file cabinet, open up that top drawer, and in there place your assessments and your assignments and your discussions for week one. You can even put adaptive release on it so that your students have to do certain things, and then the second drawer, week two, will open up, and you can have your assessments and assignments and discussions in there. So just a way to organize your material. The professors that use this love it. It helps with the flow of the class. Once you initially get it set up, very easy to use. If you want more one-on-one training about this, let me know or let Katie know, and we'll be happy to work with you on building that content, getting everything together in those folders or files, cabinet type setup, if you will. All right, the next area, I'm going to talk about these two together. Limestone email and internal messages. Internal messages is just something I named this today. You can change the name of it and call it whatever you want to. You can call it email or course email or whatever you want to name it. But this is how it works. And when we moved to Blackboard 9.1, I guess it was 2 or 3 years ago, there were 3 trainers, and we all had different opinions about how we should handle this. And we decided that we would let y'all decide how you want to use it because within Blackboard, you can have an email system, which is called course messages, and it works just like email. Create the message. You can send it to your recipients, your students, a particular student, your whole class, or however, and it stays within Blackboard, never leaves Blackboard. The good part of that is that if you ever have a grade appeal from a student, you don't have to worry about where the content is. You don't have to go back through your email and try to find it. It's here within the course. The bad side is if you decide to use course messages, the only way you're going to know that you have messages is to log into Blackboard. And when you log in now, there under the My Blackboard tab, as soon as you log in, you're going to see that you have some messages sitting there for you. So that's the 2 sides of course messages. Limestone email. This is really Limestone email. You can send, like, I'm going to send out an email when I finish training tonight. I'm going to send it to all student users. I'm a system administrator, so I can send it to every single student that's enrolled in Blackboard. But you can send it to all your students within the course, and it goes directly to their Limestone email account. All right, the good side of that is if you use Limestone email, as soon as your student emails you, you're going to know it right then. The downside is, again, you have that grade appeal. You're going to have to dig through your Limestone emails and try to find that email to solve that problem. So some professors decide they want to use the course email, and they name it whatever they want to. And they hide the Limestone email. This just toggles off and on to show or hide. Okay. Some professors use both. So I'm saying again, we couldn't agree as the 3 trainers. We had different opinions about it. So we're going to let you decide how you do this. I do recommend that you choose one or the other. I would not use both, but that's just my opinion. All right. Also within your course, you're going to see some tutoring services. We put this in just for students, just as a courtesy. It's in every single template. Khan Academy, I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but if not, and if you have kids from like 5 years old on through college, send them to Khan Academy. It's a free thing. It's great. There's a link here. We have Mole and Owl tutoring services at Limestone, free services. And then we have NetTutor and tutor.com. And these, of course, the student would have to pay, but we just wanted to make it available for those folks who need tutoring services. Then we have some web links. Again, just some general information about the college, Proctor application, Blackboard help for students. And then the students would have my grades. Okay, so that's all that I have on this part. We're going to look again at the control panel. Make sure that we've covered everything there. I think as we went through earlier and looked at that, the only thing that I really missed was the files, how you can upload your files into your course. And then I want to talk to you about the reports that you can access within your course. All right, any questions before we go back down to the control panel? Okay. So when you're under the control panel, when you first look down here, you're going to see all these things will be closed up. So you'll want to just click on this little link, the little expand, and it'll open up. And this I had hoped that they would fix during the upgrade, but they didn't. To me, this is not obvious that there's a link here. I mean, when I look at this, I think this is just the name of my course. But believe it or not, this is a link. And if you click on it, it's going to take you out and show you all the files within your course. If you've uploaded your syllabus, if you've uploaded content from the publisher, this is where it resides in this folder. Now, as a best practice, we recommend that you create a folder and bring the content, keep it orderly. As you can see, I don't follow my own best practice. I just have mine junked in here and have duplicates and that kind of thing. But um, again, this is where it's located. You can upload files. You can upload those zip packages that you get from the publisher. Create HTML object. I've never used that. If you know HTML, maybe that'd be helpful to you. But most folks just upload files, upload zip packages, and sort of organize creating. Don't be afraid to delete things. If you've got old information out here, get rid of it. And again, I'm not following my own rule here. So, any questions about where your files are located? All right. This section, the next section, of course, is the course tools, which we spent some time looking at the date management. And then the evaluation area. This is where the retention center resides. It's also where the course reports are. And this may be helpful if you have a student who says, I was in the class yesterday from 8 o'clock till 10 o'clock, and I did this, and this. Why can't you see it? Well, you may just want to go run the report and see if that's true. Not to say that people don't always tell the truth, but we've run these reports many times for that reason. It does give you a course activity overview. I would say everybody has a different favorite report in this area, so just go in and run all of them. See which ones you like, which ones you think would be helpful to you. But again, this is a great way to keep track of what's going on with your course, with your students, and how they're progressing. And that's really all that I have. I've gone over just a few minutes. I do have one question that I want to read out and see if we can get answered. The question is, will I be able to log into Blackboard today? We did have IDs created today. You will be able to log in. If you log in today and you have already been assigned to a course, what you are going to see when you log in, you're probably going to see some announcements. You'll have your courses listed here, and this is what they're going to look like. Okay, so you'll need to email ECI services at limestone.edu. Tell us which course you're teaching, whether it's day, evening, so we'll know which template to use so we can put the template in for you. The next question, does the syllabus need to be in a PDF form? That is an excellent question. Yes, please put it in PDF form. That is a best practice. Some folks use HTML. They just go into Word and save it as HTML. That works fine. I personally have had problems when I've gone into a professor's course and they've used that. It would open up like a gazillion times and I would have to shut my computer down to make it stop. I mean, I would just have syllabi just one after the other, seriously, for eternity. It would not stop until I close my computer down. If you use PDF, students are, it can't be changed. It's more like a permanent document. So yes, please, as best practice, use PDF. Can you load a video from a DVD? I'm going to answer that by saying I have tried. I have loaded audio fairly successfully. I have not loaded DVD very successfully, something about the formatting. Normally, when I want to do a DVD, I will do YouTube. And as a matter of fact, I want to go back and show you in this course, they have what's called mashup. You may want to use that instead, or have the video reside and put in a URL. We don't really have a limitation as to the amount of video that we can put into Blackboard right now. I feel that somewhere down the road, that's going to be a problem. They're probably going to cap it. We just don't have many professors that do that. I have not had success, but again, you can certainly try it. How about that? Let me go to this area and show you, let's see, build content. Okay, here's the mashup area. You can go to YouTube and build content. So if you wanted to search on something like Mars, you can go in and select, and all you do is just, you can preview it here, see your documentaries. That is a cleaner way, I think, of putting content in rather than trying to download that whole DVD. Then you have to make sure that if you do the DVD, you have to make sure that your students can open it and view it. So I would recommend the mashups instead. Okay, what area would I put homework assignments that are chapter quizzes? Again, you could put them under the assessments if you wanted to, or you could make a learning module and put them there, or you could do both. It looks like Dr. Lindley has done both. She has some module information and then some assessments as well. How do I find out if chapter quizzes are already loaded into the Blackboard course? Okay, if you are teaching for Extended Campus Internet, you will have a lead instructor's content, course content, and you should have the quiz already in there. If you are teaching for day or you are teaching for Extended Campus Classroom, you're going to have this basic template here. I'm going to go back and show you. And you will see that the assessment area is empty. So you will have to either build it. This is just, samples we put in here through training, but it will be empty. So you will either have to build the content, the assessment. You'll use Respondus to bring it in, which again, we can help with that training. You can get partner content and bring it in from, the publisher. And then do you use the grade option for chapter quizzes? If so, how? Yeah, when you create the quiz, you go back in this area and you name it. You can make multiple attempts, force completion. It automatically goes to the grade book. Okay, so include this test in the Grade Center score calculations. Hide results from the instructor or grade center. So those kind of things are automated. You just go through and read the selections here and just select, whatever you want. But that grade book, it automatically goes there. I'm going to look at the Grade Center for just a minute and show you something about the grade book, the full Grade Center. Now, this is what the Grade Center looks like. Since we don't have anything in this course that I'm working in, you don't see the student's name, but all the assignments would be listed here. This is another helpful tool. The Grade Center has a screen reader mode on and off, just toggles back and forth. I really like to use the full Grade Center because you can see everything at one time. You can just roll along, and I like that. Some people don't, so I just say try it and see what works for you. Okay, let's see if I think that's all of those questions. Let's see. Oh, can I briefly go over the grade book? Oh, good. Well, I was a little ahead there. Any other questions about the Grade Center? Did I show you enough about it? You can create columns. This is a popular thing, the calculated column. Katie Jones and I can help you with that. Or, like I said, Blackboard, their training material is excellent. You may just want to go and look at one of their little quick videos about how to create different calculated columns. But you can manage, that you can do reports. And once your students are in, you're going to be able to see a lot more detail that I'm showing you here. Does it automatically grade the quiz, or do you have to go to the grade area to grade it? I want some input from somebody that's been teaching in Blackboard, if I could get some, please. It's my understanding, again, I don't teach, but I think you're going to have to go in and grade your test. It has the needs grading. I believe it'll show up here. Is there a way, if you're using content from a publisher or something that you've created, that it will automatically grade? Could somebody give me some input on that, please? Anybody? help me out here? No, it will not automatically grade. No. Okay, that's what I thought, Jeff, but I wanted to be sure. Thank you for that answer. It does not automatically grade. All right. Well, that's all I have for tonight. Any questions or anything that I can help you with, don't hesitate to call me or email me, or again, Donna Hudson, dhudson at limestone.edu. My number is 1-888-760-2245. And my colleague is Katie Jones, and she's there on campus on the third floor. And she is K Jones at limestone.edu. And then her number through the toll free line is 1-800-795-7151, extension 4597. Or if you're on campus, you can just do 4597. If you're local to Gaffney, it's just 488-4597. So thank you very much. Y'all are really hanging in here with me for almost an hour and a half here. So um, I appreciate that. Thank y'all very much. And if you're all done, if y'all have any questions you want to lag behind for, you're free to go. Have a great evening. Stay warm.